Hello and welcome to Creating Canon with your hosts, AJ Hamilton and Nicholas of the Dead Pappas.
I am of all the Nicholases.
Of the Dead is your new middle name
Of the
because C is dumb.
You know what? The C's are dumb. What isn't dumb is Tom Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, man.
Oh,
wow.
fuck!
Oh, this was such a welcome surprise in this series that we've been doing.
This has to be like top 2 or 3 for me.
So good.
This is up there with, when I think back, I think like maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Sure, yeah.
It's kind of up there with that, but that was like campy and fun.
Mm-hmm.
This, I felt several times both of us were doing that whole like holding your breath, like waiting to see what happens next, which is super crazy because I've seen the original Night of the Living Dead. I saw this movie probably 20 years ago, and fuck.
Yeah, you could see the movie's gears turning.
Yeah.
Which is super cool to be able to see, and you're not behind the characters, you're right with them, and you're not ahead of the characters. Like, you're not, it's not keeping you bored with like, okay, now they're going to do this, and now that's going to happen, and you feel like you're in the situation with the characters.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
They do a really good job, and this is, George Romero comes back and does the screenplay of this.
Yes.
And I thought what Romero did extremely well, and Tom Savini as well, as first of all, I cannot believe Tom Savini has not done more as a director.
Why is he not behind the camera more?
This is crazy. Tom Savini, probably known, most known as a special effects and like makeup master.
Sure.
Friday the 13th, the first Friday the 13th is his. But he was also, he was Sex Machine and From Dusk Till Dawn. If you remember.
With the gun
that
flips out
of his penis. That's exactly right.
Yep.
Planet Terror, Django Unchained, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and a ton of other things.
Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I know. It's such a weird... I forgot that he was in that, and then as I was kind of doing some research, I was like, oh, that's right. But what Romero does with the script, to like hop back to what you were saying, is everything feels so logical.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything fits from moment to moment where it's like, oh no, that totally makes sense.
That is the strategy. That's what you have to do next.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
In a way that's, I feel like in a lot of horror movies, characters do things where you're like, well, that was stupid.
There was no logical reason why even a person in panic, because it's very cool in this movie where you see good decisions and bad decisions.
Yes.
Not illogical decisions. It's stuff that when you're in a panic, either somebody is good under pressure or somebody is bad under pressure. Well, Tom is not great under pressure.
Tom is not. But that's actually the weird thing.
Yeah.
Tom...
we're jumping too far.
We jumped straight ahead. But what I was gonna say though is like I do think Tom at times is actually good under pressure.
Oh, he is.
And then he also makes stupid decisions under pressure.
Right.
And I think all the characters kind of have moments like that where they are incredibly, for lack of a better word, human.
Yep.
Where even our leads, Ben, played by Tony Todd. Tony
Todd bringing it.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Tony Todd, the Candyman, Crow, Final Destination.
Yeah.
A horror master, and he is so good in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
There are a couple of moments early on where I couldn't help myself. I just kept talking to AJ about saying things like, oh my god, that moment was so good, or like, oh, that was brilliant, or there was even one time where I was like, okay, that was some really bad dialogue that he
delivered amazingly.
That he made work.
He rocked it.
He made it work so well. And Barbara, who is played by Patricia Tallman, was also fucking great in this movie.
She had the most, like, he was acting really well.
Yeah.
She was in it. She felt like she was actually living the damn thing. She was so intense sometimes.
She was. Well, she kind of reminded me of sort of like a Linda Hamilton in the Terminators.
Yeah.
Or Jamie Lee Curtis in the new Halloween. Or Ripley.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I even said at one point when she was in the tank top, I was like, ooh, Ripley's getting it. She is on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job drawing on some like really incredible. Although 1990, this is before Hamilton and Terminator 2.
Sure. Yeah.
2 years before that. So like I mean, really, the only one she's actually drawing on is Ripley.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Timeline.
Hey.
Oh, boy.
That's the thing.
Plot-wise, just to give like a quick summary of the plot.
Actually, would you like to...
Should I do the whole...
Do the voice,
All right,
man.
ready?
It's a staple.
If you don't know the plot of this movie, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, that is...
I mean, that's basically...
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I mean, like... So...
It's a very simple plot. I mean...
Yeah.
People get stuck in a house... surrounded by zombies.
The zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
But to break that down, actually, we'll go a little bit further. Barbara, played by Patricia Tallman, and Johnny, played by Bill Moseley. Which is so weird to see Bill Moseley as, like...
And the most normal, creepy guy I've ever seen.
He's just like a normal guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't trust you.
No.
I don't trust you at all.
Never.
Because he's always creepy.
Yeah.
And he was like a normal white-collar dude. Like,
Yeah.
He wasn't even, like, blue-collar.
Just screwing around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was wearing driving gloves, for God's sake.
He was wearing fucking driving gloves. Which is a callback to the original. Like, that was a big thing about the original, is like, he's got the driving gloves on.
Yeah.
And basically, they're there to visit, they're at a graveyard to visit their mother, who has obviously died.
Sure.
And while they're visiting the grave, zombies come. They kill Johnny.
Yep.
Bill Moseley's part of this movie is like 3 minutes.
Oh, well, they don't even kill him. They like tackle him,
true.
and he tries to get away, and then he breaks his neck on a gravestone.
Falling on a gravestone.
Holy crap.
Which created a great moment at the end of the movie where he comes, like, we see him again. Actually, not only we, but Barbara sees him again and, like, has a moment.
Yep.
And basically what happens is Barbara freaks out, and she runs.
Yeah.
And she runs to a house that we think is empty. Ben, played by Tony Todd, comes in.
Right.
And then they start trying to fend off from zombies. There's a few people who live in the, like, who are already in the house in the basement.
Yes. Yeah. That we don't find out about until 15, 20 minutes in.
Maybe even more, like
Maybe.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
because they do, it feels very, I'm trying to think of a movie that this is similar to, almost A Quiet Place or something like that, where it takes its time.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
It's a two-hander that, exactly.
Yeah,
that takes its time.
That, you get the moments of preparation, of silence, of almost meditation on what the situation they're in.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a long time for that, but the fact that they have any time, like when she is a hand and some drops of blood fall on Barbara when she first goes in the house. And it's not just swept under the rug.
Boo.
It's literally, she kills this man, and she almost feels like he's Mr. Wilford Brimley.
That's what he looks like.
Yeah, he definitely looks like that. She kills him with a poker.
Diabetes
No, with the poker.
Killed him.
The poker was made out of diabetes.
Yes. Diabetes.
So she actually, while in their moment of silence, while they're getting changed and starting a fire and getting ready for another onslaught or something, to figure out what's next, she sees the hand on the floor and decides she can't live with that inside the house. And so she rolls it over with the poker to the man, rolls him up in a rug, and then takes them outside. That was incredible attention to detail, and I feel that they don't skip much. They think of what has to happen and show you every single thought processes.
And I think you're absolutely right, but what Savini does particularly well is when they show the thought process, it doesn't feel like, because I've also seen movies where it feels boring and plotting and like, oh my God, we don't need to see every single beat.
Stops showing every single stitch mark. Yeah.
This felt like it showed the exact right amount.
Yeah.
And also the things that I appreciated, I think the bad version of this film is like, she had a fireplace poker. The bad version is like, she shoves the fireplace poker into the hand or and like picks it up like almost like I mean she basically would stab it.
Yeah.
But she does something that's so incredibly human that also creates like a kind of funny moment where she's like trying to flick it over,
roll it over towards the thing,
to the guy, which makes it take much longer.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's exactly what I don't feel like I would want to stab it and then bring it up. Like it's gross.
And it's also reverential, reverent. Revel.
I don't know what word you're trying to say.
I'm trying to say, she's very almost respectful by not stabbing it, by trying to roll it over. She's like, this is still a piece of human.
Yes.
She's sort of being
reverential.
reverential.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
the word we're looking for. Now I'm
questioning.
You've made me question.
You're welcome.
But I'm 90% sure.
Yeah, sure. That one. You know what I'm trying to say, and I think that's an interesting line that we walk as we get on further. What these dead humans, still humans, what respect people give to them, and what fear versus that respect there is.
That's actually a really great point, because I think that dance kind of happens throughout the whole movie, where it's the line of, these are once people, and they are just like... In fact, Barbara has a line where it says, they are us, we are them.
Well, that's what I was going to say,
right at the end of the movie, which is also attached to this. So one thing... Man, I feel like there's a million things to talk about in this movie.
Go for it.
So one of the things I want to kind of like...
You're not listening for an exact...
I know. Recreation of the movie.
Oh,
yeah,
man, exactly.
That's never going to happen with us.
Let's hop.
So one of the things that I think is really important and really fascinating, and this ties back to the original Night of the Living Dead as well, which I thought they brought over really well and capped over, was the idea that we have to talk about the fact that Tony Todd is a black actor.
Sure.
And Patricia Tallman is a white actress.
Yeah.
And in the original movie, there was all these interesting racial implications about like an older black man and a younger white woman in like 60s South, late 60s South, heading together to this house, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that happens in that movie, Harry Cooper is still an asshole. Harry Cooper is a character that is downstairs when they get to the house. They don't know that he's downstairs.
Right.
But he is there with his wife and his daughter. His daughter's been bit. And in the original, you could tell that there was like, the reason Harry didn't like Ben was because he was black.
Sure.
And I think in this one, you could still feel that a little bit, those racial tensions.
Yeah. It's almost more of a class thing. Regardless, he thinks he's better at him.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that brings us to this really interesting moment towards the end of the movie where, in the original, what ends up happening is Ben survives. Ben's the only survivor.
He's the last one alive.
He comes out, and all these rednecks shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Part of that is because, like, it's a bunch of white rednecks shooting a black man.
They'd take the opportunity.
Yeah. And what's fascinating in this movie is, as Barbara is the survivor in this movie, as she's walking around and she says that line, they are us and we are them, they have a bunch of the zombies strung up. They're lynching them. Yeah. They're burning the bodies. And what I thought was super fascinating is, like, the thing that Barbara points out early on in the movie is that we could run past them because if it's just one zombie, there is nothing to fear.
Yeah.
When there is a whole pack,
a horde
of zombies, that's when they're dangerous. And at the end of the movie, she is one person, and she is just running away from them, surviving. But when there's a whole pack of people with guns and scary ideas, mob mentality rules, and those people become cruel and torturous.
Yeah, and revel in these...
They enjoy
in the death.
It. There's a scene where there's a human and a zombie in a pit together, and that's like, he is torturing this zombie.
Yeah.
I mean, do zombies feel is a whole other question. But but he's torturing, like, there's a guy just at the end torturing a zombie for fun while a bunch of people are like, it's like a cockfight, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah, I
cheering and shouting money.
I agreed with you when you were saying, isn't that two zombies fighting each other? And by the man drinking a beer while he's fighting the zombie, I think it's just like a weird taunting.
I thought it was two zombies fighting each other,
toying with life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
life and death.
That thing just, and also too, there's a scary implication at the end of this movie. Is Barbara survives, she gets away.
Yeah.
And when she is caught by like a bunch of rednecks, one of them like is holding on to her.
Yeah.
And like a different one is like, "Shit, girlie, what you doing out here all alone?" And she's still like beat the guy off of her once he finally knows that she is not a zombie. And it had some like there was a real moment where I was like, oh fuck, is she gonna be raped? Is something bad gonna happen to her? Because she's a girl all alone amongst
all those redneck,
like amongst all those men.
Yeah.
And we keep saying redneck. I think it's just they're all white dudes.
Vitriolic.
Yes, they're all vitriolic white dudes
Yeah.
with a lot of booze and a lot of guns.
Yeah, and a lot of free time on their hand. Clearly.
And a lot of southern accents.
Yeah.
A lot of trucker hats.
So yeah, I mean, take what you will from that, and don't don't crucify us for calling them rednecks, because it's kind of what they are, kind of the stereotype I think that they were going for. I thought it was interesting. I don't exactly know what it means or if it means anything, but I thought it was interesting that along the lines of racial tension, the white guy gets away at the end when there's the shootout. Harry Cooper, and he goes upstairs. He's on the top, and he gets to be in a place where he is safe and above it all. And
he's not even just upstairs; he's in the attic.
He's in the attic, untouched by everything. And then Ben almost gets forced down into the basement where he never wanted to be in the first place. And I don't know if that was intentional, but the top and the bottom thing just called out to my mind.
Well, I think you're absolutely right in some ways where, not in some ways, I think you're absolutely right in all ways, in that if you really think about it, one of the reasons Harry Cooper's allowed to survive is because he damages Ben, and all the zombies then start following Ben as he runs downstairs. Yeah. And his survival is built off the death and subjugation of a black man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Like that is exactly what happens. Like there is no beating around the bush on that one.
No, not at all.
So that's also fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's kind of amazing at the end of this movie. So the ending of the original, again, just to kind of remind you, is like all these rednecks shoot Ben, even though he's okay. Yeah. The ending of this movie, Barbara comes back to the house.
Such a stone cold moment.
Cooper comes downstairs and he's like, Barbara, you
came back.
You came back for me.
Yeah.
She just shoots him right in the fucking head.
Another one for your bonfire.
Another one for your bonfire.
Jesus.
Well, and he, earlier in the movie, too, man, we're jumping all over the place, but you know what? It works. It's fine. Yep. To contextually, like, he's an asshole through the whole movie. He's rude to Ben.
He's got the worst decisions.
He actually steals the gun out of Barbara's hands.
While she's getting attacked by zombies.
Right. Doesn't do anything to help her, and, like, runs away.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that is great about that moment is it's just sort of like, living in the world of Me Too, contextualizing it for now, that feels very much like, watch out, white dudes in power who harass women. Yeah. They're coming for you.
That is not the right idea.
We are angry and we are coming for you.
Absolutely. And I think there's such an interesting different levels of strength that the women all show.
Yes.
Except that most of the time they are fairly strong women characters. They're not second-class characters in this. No. And I absolutely love the wife.
Yes,
they're real.
Cooper's wife.
They're all so real. Like, they all have agency. They're all independent of one another. Where in a worse movie, the Coopers she would go along with him, or there wouldn't be a conflict between the two of them. And there wouldn't be a conflict between Tom and Judy Rose.
Yes. They didn't pair off. Yeah, they normally would.
I mean, they did pair off because they had that previous relationship, but it was still they were doing stuff on their own when Judy Rose loses Ben, but she's the one driving the truck. She's like, "No, I drive trucks. I can get us there.
I can do this."
Yeah, absolutely.
In that moment. Well, I think there's another great moment with Judy Rose where Harry Cooper and Ben are having this argument over like who's in charge of this house.
Right.
And it's not Tom who steps up, it's Judy Rose who says, listen, this is our fucking house.
Yeah.
If you don't like the rules here, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
It is our place.
Right.
Leave us alone.
Yeah.
If you're going to act like this.
Exactly.
And there's another great moment, too, when they are looking for the keys for the gas tank.
Yeah.
There's a moment in the movie where they realize their only way out, there's a truck that has no gas in it, basically. They got to open up a gas pump that's, like, near the barn. They're looking for the keys, and they can't find the keys anywhere. So they're like, oh, shit, maybe it's on the body that we threw out
the uncle
earlier.
Or cousin or whatever.
It's the uncle, who we threw out earlier. So what's amazing about that moment is it's not like the dudes who go do it.
Right.
Barbara opens the door and says the keys are probably in there, and she goes out there. Judy Rose runs out.
Yeah.
And then, as Harry Cooper is trying to hold her back, Helen Cooper pushes him away and says, "No, I'm looking for the keys."
Yeah.
And it's the three women who are standing out there on the porch getting the keys and making a solid, smart, strong decision.
Yeah.
And the dudes are like, "Oh, well, I guess we have to... I guess we'll support them."
Yeah.
It was such a great moment.
I also love when Sarah Cooper, right?
The little girl?
Helen or Sarah? It's Helen.
Helen is the mom.
Helen is
Sarah's the little girl.
Right. Helen is sifting through some drawers to look for the keys as well. And she throws a music box at Harry to stop him from stopping her. And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And she throws the thing. And then one of the doors break down and the zombies are coming in. And at the same time, Barbara shoots one of the zombies. And then they're like, "That's a human being. That's a..." She shoots another
that
zombie
moment is so good.
A bunch of times. She's like, "Are they dead? Are they dead now?"
Shoots him in the stomach over and over and over.
And then takes a headshot, shoots him, and all the while, so subtly, the music box that Helen threw at Harry is playing. And it's the most haunting thing. It's just brilliant, man.
It's such a good attention
Tom
to detail.
Savini has all of these things peppered throughout that just, they don't necessarily lead to something, but they are the logical conclusion to the movement, rather than just forgetting about something.
Well, the thing about that moment that was so cool, too, is like you could barely hear it under the screaming and the shouting. And then what ends up happening is once Barbara kills, I called him Gandhi Zombie because he sort of looks like Gandhi.
Absolutely.
And like screaming as he dead, proving her point. They shove that, like, so they finally kill him, throw him out the window. They start hammering that door back up. And then it's just silence.
Like awkward silence of like accepting it.
And then you can hear the music box like fully.
Yeah.
Like underscoring that moment. This like
so cool.
Childlike music box playing over this moment. And like that moment gave me the creeps. Like I was like, ugh.
Yep. A perfectly, like, a perfect storm coming together.
Yeah.
So many different, like, high tensions and anger about life. Remember, like when Judy Rose is like, I know that guy. Don't shoot him.
Yeah.
And she's like, did I do that? Did I shoot him 3 times in the back? No.
No, I did not. Barbara Rose did not do that.
No.
There's also others, like, small moments that are such beautiful attention to detail. Like, when the cousin who... When they arrive at the house, there's a man who has killed himself upstairs.
Sure.
And we find out that that's Tom's cousin. When Ben walks up to examine what's going on upstairs, as he gets closer, he, like, does that, like, oh my god, that smells. He pulls out a rag and he, like, holds it over his face as he gets closer, which I thought was such a, like... Again, that tells us like, we can't smell that.
No.
But that gives us a hint on how long that body's
Builds
been
the
there.
world.
How long that smell has been there. But I also thought there was this moment that almost made me cry where Ben tells Tom, "Hey, you have to go upstairs and get blah, 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 blah."
Yep.
Tom starts to go upstairs and Ben is like, "No, wait. You wait for a second." And Tom's like, "What? Why?" And you don't quite realize it until he does it. But what Ben does is he goes upstairs.
He grabs a cloth, a drop cloth.
And covers
Tom's
cousin. So Tom doesn't have to see his cousin's dead body.
Yeah.
And the humanity in that moment, the humanity in this place where it's eat or be eaten.
It shows the truth of character.
Yeah.
In all of them, because, like, where does your mind go? What are you concerned about? Well, he's concerned about a human being. He's concerned about the feelings of somebody, even though this insanity is going on, and they don't maybe necessarily have all this time.
No.
To do that, but he does it anyway.
Yes, because he just knows that there's just something important.
Yeah.
There's just something important about caring for your fellow man as the world is falling apart.
Yeah.
I couldn't help think constantly about, like, our current political world as we were watching this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of mentioned it before, but that idea of, like, one person isn't dangerous, but a whole group of people are dangerous.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, one Nazi is not dangerous. 1,000 Nazis.
Yep.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
yeah, that moment, it was so great. Another moment, like the music box, too, that I want to point out that I thought was so fucking great is there's a scene in the movie early on, we're probably like a half an hour in or 35 minutes in, they turn on a TV to see if there's any news about what's happening with, like, the zombie outbreak.
Yep.
Of course, they don't use the word zombie, but they turn on the news, and it's just a screen with words on it.
The emergency broadcast.
Yeah. So they leave the TV on to see if there's anything else.
Because they're busy taking more wood down to blow up the windows. Yeah.
So probably a full 30 minutes later in the movie, 35 minutes later, all of this shit is happening, and all of a sudden Harry hears something from upstairs.
Yeah.
And, like, slowly walks upstairs, and it turns out that TV they left on is now showing a news broadcast.
Yep.
Which I just was like, again, attention to detail was like, the bad version of the script is like someone goes upstairs and turns the TV on, or like,
and it's got the immediate information that they need to know. Yeah,
I just thought that was such a brilliant beat where it was like, oh,
yeah,
right, of course, if you leave the TV on, it'll eventually start playing when the noise happens.
Yeah. And it's very telling about his character because everybody else is working to protect the house.
Yeah.
And he's sort of backing away from everybody. He doesn't want to be a part of it. Really, in his mind, he just wants to go downstairs and weather the storm. And I keep going back to this and thinking, if they weren't making all the noise of the banging and stuff like that, and if they had just stayed downstairs,
would any of the zombies
any of it happen? Because you notice at the very end, nobody's gotten down into the cellar to get Ben.
Yeah.
When he escapes down there. And there were a hell of a lot of zombies trying to get in there. How long they would have been able to survive, obviously, is a huge question.
Totally.
But would the zombies have even broken into the house if they hadn't heard them or understood that humans were even in there? How good is their sonar or radar or whatever they're using to sniff out the humans?
That is...
I don't know.
It's such a great question. I think that goes back to that idea of, like, who is right in this situation? Like,
right.
Harry Cooper sort of has a point that if they just all shut up and went downstairs, would they have ever been found?
Yeah, but until later, you don't really know they have hypotheses, but they don't know the end game of the zombies or what they're capable of, and so it really is up in the air. It's, we look at these zombie movies very jaded, very mightier than thou, holier than thou, where we're like, I would know what to do in a zombie situation.
Well, we also have a history of... I mean, if I had to guess, this is probably the 50th or 60th zombie movie I've seen in my life.
Right? Yeah.
So, like, we have a history to, like, build on.
Are you counting Passion of the Christ? Go ahead.
AJ just made a motion at me of, we should cut this beat. And I actually don't know if we should. I just was going to let you hang there, though. No, but I am counting the sequel, which apparently is in pre-production.
Has Jim Caviezel been struck by any more lightning?
I know, right?
All right.
Well, we are going to be very soon.
Oh,
Shit. What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
50,
this is like the 50 or 60th zombie movie that I've seen, so, like, of course I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, like, one of the questions that, like, here's the crazy part, like, if they have to be downstairs for a month before someone can come, Ben is right. That is not where they want to be.
No, not at all. No.
We only know because they're only in there for 12 or 20 hours or so that actually Harry Cooper is right.
Right. Yes.
And that would have been the way to survive.
Although they would have been stuck with the daughter who had been bitten.
Right. Absolutely.
So they would have at least had to kill her. And, I mean, would Harry or Helen have allowed them to kill Sarah?
And that's a great question because...
that's an even tighter box
to be stuck into. Because that's actually what happens is Sarah, who is the daughter of Harry and Helen, has been bitten.
Right.
She turns into a zombie. Sarah kills Helen and then... comes upstairs, almost kills Harry. Harry refuses to shoot her. And then when Ben tries to shoot her, and I thought this was a great moment too, is like Ben didn't say kill her, kill it.
Because it's no longer a her.
Yes.
It is a zombie now.
And that's something that he completely understands. But yes, so when Ben tries to kill Sarah, the zombie, Harry shoots Ben twice, and effectively that's going to be what ends up killing Ben.
Yeah. Just to skip around, when Ben goes downstairs and he is essentially in his last minutes.
Yeah.
He just sits down and he creates a sling by tying his tie together. I didn't know what he was doing. He was like pulling on his, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's making a sling
for his arm that was
shot.
His shoulder."
Improvising that. I feel like almost that was an improv on the day.
It might have been.
But it also, holy shit, that's
felt so
regardless.
Real.
It's Tom or Tony thinking, or George.
Yeah.
Sure, he could have written it in, but it's somebody maybe on set that's like, hey, his arm is shot and he has a tie.
Yeah.
Who's closer to it? I feel like Tony Todd might have done that.
Maybe, yeah.
Because that's
too.
such a good.
It's such an attention to detail moment, understanding
piece
that
of
moment.
action for an actor.
And then there's that great beat right after, which is like so horrible and heartbreaking. Where Tony Todd looks over. So actually, to jump back,
sure.
So they're looking for keys. They finally find keys, and they're like, "Oh my god, great! We can get into the gas pump.
Right.
We can fill the truck up." They get to the gas pump in this like harrowing moment. Tom, Judy Rose get to the gas pump. Tom realizes neither of the keys opens the gas pump. So what Tom does is he shoots the lock. He misses, hits the gas pump. Gasoline starts flying out, lands on top of a torch that's in the back of this truck.
Ben had thrown in the back of the truck.
The torch then, of course, lights the gasoline on fire, lights that trace of gasoline, and then the entire gas tank, the truck, the gas pump, Judy and Tom all just explode.
Creating some barbecue for
zombies later.
Yeah.
But then when Ben is downstairs in that moment, as he's dying, as he's created the sling, he looks to his right, and right there, he finds a key labeled gas pump, which he holds in his hands, and all he can do is laugh.
Yeah.
Which is one of those like beautiful, ironic, accepting of death. It just, like, it was both. I don't know about you, but like there's a moment where like I both found it funny and also like heart-wrenchingly achy.
Oh, of course.
In that moment, because it was so. I mean, I keep kind of going back to the word real, but like I feel like as real as it gets for zombie movies, this is as real as it gets.
There's so many bittersweet moments, or not even bittersweet moments, but just like you're saying, real, where they're not heroic or sad. They're just goddamn. When Barbara escapes, when she decides to leave on her own, and she has the policeman's gun.
There's a fill that context in. There's a policeman zombie who like falls through the door,
right?
And they're able to get the belt off, and she takes the policeman zombie's gun,
right?
While they kill the policeman zombie, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
No. But I did realize that was a jump in logic, but. So she takes the policeman's gun and she's walking outside and she's being approached by the zombies and she's aiming the gun at them, but then she just sidesteps them. Yeah. Just sidesteps them, and then she's looking around at the carnage that is happening and just being overwhelmed emotionally. And a woman walks up with, I don't know if it was a young girl, but it was a baby doll. Yeah, I don't know how old the
woman's
zombie.
Like a zombie.
Yeah.
But
she was holding a doll, and I think she saw the remnants of humanity at that moment in the zombie, which was so tragic, and I can't imagine what it would be like to see the husk of a human continuing to walk around and be corrupted like that. And she just bites her lip and shoots the woman zombie, and there was no reason for her to. She could have walked away from it just as she did the previous two, but she just was so disgusted at that moment of what was happening around her, because she was seeing not cannibalisms, but essentially zombies eating all of these people and just mice and weird things, and just seeing the corruption of the human race after death. My God, she was brilliant. She was brilliant. I enjoyed everybody. I think Harry Cooper chewed the scenery
a little bit as an
a
actor.
little bit. You know, his eyes just...
Yeah. He really locked himself into that, like, I am the bad guy role. But I also thought, like...
He got more subtle later, but...
Yeah. Well,
essential.
He grew on me. And, like, I didn't...
Yeah.
It was weird because, of all of them, he was the... Actually, this is something that I didn't even think about until you pointed it out this way. It's almost like everyone else treated it like a drama, and he treated it like a horror movie.
Yeah.
And then he kind of, I don't know if they shot in order or something like that, but like he really did like sink in, and like he grew on me, and I was able to buy. I started to buy everything he did.
Yes,
I really did. Talk about subtle, like, and like really great moments. There's that great moment where Tony Todd is like trying to break out of the house.
Yeah.
And he's got the fire and he's like poking zombies with it.
Oh my God.
And there's that awesome moment where like he accidentally lights the house on fire.
Yeah.
And in like one badass moment, he just goes whack,
and
he like
puts it out.
That. And that was a moment where I was like, I don't know if that was scripted.
Right.
I don't know if that house was supposed to catch on fire.
That's not supposed to happen. So, and I'm not going to do another take.
And he was badass.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was really great too, when you think about logic, is when he's coming back to the house, because he actually originally goes out to help Tom and Judy Rose with the gas pump.
Right, but he falls out of the
truck.
Yeah.
So he witnesses the thing exploding.
Yep.
But he's far enough away that he's okay. But yeah, when he's running back, oh God, I loved it.
So
like,
cool.
He started to like run and jump at the zombies' feet and knock them over.
Yeah.
And then he would just start rolling, knocking zombies over.
Yeah.
Because they have a hard time getting up. Like then he would pop up and run and
he would like punch him down, but it was always like tackling them. Yeah.
Because
taking out their knees.
The thing he realized is the most dangerous part of a zombie,
face and mouth,
is the mouth.
Yep.
So if he is knocking them down at the feet level, they topple over.
So cool.
And he's able to just keep running. And he probably there's a one point where he's being swarmed, and there's probably like 7 or 8, and he would have died. But just because he went straight for the feet, they all fell over, mouths away from him, that he was able to pop up and run. And I was like,
I really feel like
what?
That must have been Romero or Tom Savini, because that was a thought that was like, that is a zombie world thought.
Yes.
You know, that is something where you can't fight. You have to find a strategy rather than just like dodging and ducking. And if you have to interact with them, that was survival instinct kicking in. That was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was such survival instinct.
Yeah.
And it also made sense. Like, when those things did not attack him, it was like, oh, I see why you did not attack him. Because he was he just did smart things.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast, and in that podcast, they mentioned Tom Savini.
Yeah.
And the work that he did on Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th.
Okay, sure.
And partly also what he had done in life before working as a makeup effect artist.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is I think it really holds true to this movie in that the effects were grisly and gory.
Sure.
But they also weren't over the top. They seemed very real.
Yeah.
And they seemed, lack of a better word, grounded to a certain extent.
I agree.
And there was a lot of reality in how the characters were acting, right? Like in the moments where like the bloodshed would happen. And so one of the things that this is the thing I found out about Tom Savini that I thought was fucking insane. Tom Savini worked as a war photographer during the Vietnam War.
Holy shit.
And a lot of his photos that he took were of people limbless.
Yeah.
Trying to like survive, holding their own like
Guts
entrails
in.
in. And the idea that he saw so much horrible carnage that, number one, he knew what it looked like.
Yeah.
He didn't have to go exploring. He has actually seen that stuff. And number two, when you're looking at it through a photo lens, trying to take photos to document something, there has to be a certain part of you, I imagine, that almost has to turn the humanity off.
Disconnect
and look at it as just an image that you are trying to capture.
As a subject rather than...
as a subject. Yeah. Rather than something that has any like objectivity and like reality to it. That in some ways, I feel like you could see that brutal reality in this.
It doesn't blink.
It doesn't blink.
It really doesn't, no.
And I think that's why it's so disturbing in many ways. Like, this movie originally was rated X. They had to cut a bunch of stuff out.
Well, wasn't it banned in Germany?
It was banned in Germany. It was banned many places. But yeah, it was rated X. And they just had to cut a bunch of, like, small little things here or there in order to get it to R.
Is there a director's cut of this? I would love that.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll do research and see if I can find out if there's one that exists.
We'll update you on Twitter.
Well, I do know that, unfortunately, this is a bummer because Tom Savini talks about, like, how he got to do very little of, like, what his original ideas were.
Yeah.
Because of our beautiful resident producer, Menahem Golan.
Oh, yes.
Did not want a lot of things to change, did not want to do a lot of things, and he was the one on set and Romero wasn't. So Savini talks about he only got about 40% of his original ideas into the movie.
Yeah.
Including what I thought sounded really fascinating is, like, he wanted to start this movie off in black and white. And then
I heard
over
that too.
a long period of time, make it colorized. So it's not like Wizard of Oz where it happens like, boom.
Right, yeah.
But, like, slowly we see the color come in.
That would be fascinating.
It would be super fascinating.
That would be a dedication to the art form. It really would, because you would,
Yeah. Speaking of Menahem Golan, we should mention that, this technically not a canon film.
Right.
This is a 21st Century Film Corporation, which is what Menahem Golan opened when him and Yoram Globus had their fight and they split.
Yes.
But we made a pact early on that 21st Century Film Corporation movies can be included.
Well, and stuff from before Menahem Golan and Yoram Globus in the canon. This is going to be interesting. This is just a weird caveat that we're doing right now, because there are so many weird tangents that we want to take, and these might be bonus episodes or these might be other things, but you have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes with the spin-offs and other, like all the Death Wishes. That's even a simple one.
Yeah.
That they did 2 through 4.
Right. So the original
see...
Death Wish is not a canon movie.
Right. So, but we want to check that. Well, I mean, we've seen it, but we want to check that out for this series, and we want to check out the Bruce Willis remake and different stuff like that. So we may jump back and forth. So as creating canon as this is, we can also take lessons from other outside movies.
Well, and I think that's there is a version of Night of the Living Dead that was shot in, like, 2004.
Sure.
That was...
Yeah.
Well,
Ving Rhames and...
No, that's Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Weird side note, Ving originally was considered for the Ben role in this movie.
So was Lawrence Fishburne?
And Eric LaSalle.
Oh.
Weirdly.
How crazy.
Eric LaSalle, of course, of Rappin' fame.
Sure.
But that's a whole other thing.
Man, Tony Todd killed it, though.
Tony Todd was so good.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was going to say is that there was a 3D version of Night of the Living Dead starring Sid Haig that, I'm going to be honest, looks pretty terrible.
Awesome.
I have not seen it. This is just judgment from the box art and a few of the stills that I've seen.
Yeah.
But that might be a fun, like, weird offshoot episode.
I'll take that ride with you.
Yeah, good.
Let's
I cannot
do it.
wait.
Absolutely.
This movie, sadly, did not fare very well at the box office. Made for $4.2 million, but it only brought in 5.8. So, like,
wow,
it brought its money back. But, like,
yeah, it did. But that's shocking to me. I mean, was it not? What went wrong with that? This seems like quality fare. You know, was it released against, like, something amazing?
I have no clue.
I don't know.
Well, I imagine that a lot of people probably didn't care too much of the idea of, like, Night of the Living Dead. You got to remember that this is only 22 years after the original, so it's not that far after for a remake. I think people at that time didn't understand the idea or concept of remakes.
And zombies weren't necessarily... Were they... I mean, they're definitely more popular now.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the late 90s or early 2000s, that's when it exploded.
Right.
But I suppose... I guess it wasn't the time for zombie flicks. I don't know.
Might have just come at the wrong time, because I have to be honest, like... I wouldn't call this a shot-for-shot remake, but it was definitely like a beat-for-beat remake of the original, where, like, it follows huge elements of the storyline of the original. But this has to be one of the best remakes I've seen, and especially when it comes to horror movie remakes, it's really fucking good.
It's like a twin cousin.
Yeah, it's a twin cousin.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great thing, because it's, like, a great way of describing it, because it doesn't feel I mean, it feels both fresh and original, but you can definitely see the original, like, running
influence
through it.
and yeah, of course. That's so cool.
Reason this was made, I always find this really fascinating.
Okay.
The original Night of the Living Dead, somebody somewhere fucked up and didn't actually secure any long-term copyright on it.
Good
So
Lord.
The original Night of the Living Dead has long been in the
Public domain?
Public domain.
Wow.
That's why there's so many shitty like DVD versions.
Okay.
And you can find it anywhere for like
online and ripped
online.
and
Yeah.
awful.
And Romero really never made any money from the movie. Like made $0 basically, and wanted to cash in one way or another.
Okay.
And he also wanted to hop on the remake train before someone else remade it.
Yeah, of course.
And he had heard that Menahem Golan was planning on doing a remake. So Romero actually reached out to Golan and was like, hey, I know you're planning on doing this. Can I get involved? And Menahem Golan wisely was like, yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of the good decisions.
One of the good decisions of Menahem Golan.
Yeah. Well, I think this absolutely had to be remade. Not that the first one was bad, but I think this
The first
one
one's great, but
was this is the better way that the remake of Psycho could have gone. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
which was
shot
a shot
for
for
shot
shot.
is kind of masturbatory almost. It's
Yeah.
like, why are you making this? Somebody else made it already and it's better, and I'm sorry. Vince Vaughn's fine, but come on.
This felt like it had a authorial stamp.
Right.
That Gus Van Sant did not put on the remake of Psycho.
Absolutely, and I think that it took its own self as seriously as the original one did,
Totally.
for the same and even weaving in the same type of social commentary.
Yeah.
So I think it was the right way to do a reboot.
Well, this is what's so great about zombie movies, and especially Romero's zombie movies, especially the early 3. Because Romero, by the end of his life, did, I think, 6. There was Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead.
Okay.
And I kind of think of it as, like, 2 separate... Well, it's weird, because, like, the first 3 are all so weird and tonally different. Like, Night, Dawn, and Day feel like... Even though they're kind of a trilogy, they don't actually feel like a trilogy.
Right.
Whereas Land, Diary, and Survival all came later in his life, and those feel like they all like worked in tandem and were their own trilogy. Like it was its own trilogy that was sort of like planned with big like quotation marks around planned.
A shared universe.
But they all take place in the same universe.
No, I know. Yeah.
They're all 6, but like so. But one of the things I was going to say is what I think is great about zombie movies and what Romero did so well is. He was able to make social commentary with zombie movies that I don't think other people have done quite the same way.
Well, and it's insanely subversive because it's just the zombie outbreak existing in our world.
Yeah.
Being that everything is equal. There is racism, there is sexism, there is those issues, and we're going to add in zombies. Yeah. And it's going to play out the way it would, and then throwing in symbolism and everything like that.
Well, it's the zombies
incredible.
Exacerbate and bring out the true nature of what it means to be human.
Truly. In
those movies. And especially in this, where it's like, the racism is present, but like the racism becomes worse because of the zombies.
Right.
The sexism becomes worse because of the zombies.
Sure.
And on top of all of that, the nature of humanity, both in all of its greatness with Ben covering up a body so Tom doesn't have to see his dead cousin, and Harry's pure survival instinct of ripping a gun out of a woman's hand who's about to be murdered by zombies. Like, all of that humanity exists. And there's this really great quote from the movie that Ben says. He says, "Doesn't take long for the world to fall apart."
Yep.
And again, I think in our current political climate, I feel like that's what we're at. We've
Powder
got a bunch
keg,
of Bens, we've got a bunch of Harry Coopers, and trying to figure out like where we land with all of that.
Absolutely. I want to talk. That would be an amazing place to end, but I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let us create a good episode. I want to skip right back to the very, very beginning with Johnny. He starts it out in a very odd way where he is teasing Barbara about being scared of, we don't know, but kind of insinuating zombies, right?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, that was actually...
I'm going to get you, Barbara.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
And he grabs his own lapel and pulls himself down behind the grave, and then immediately gets attacked by a zombie.
Yeah.
Which was the most shocking thing, to see a zombie within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the movie.
It does not take long to go for it.
I was like, wow, you're just jumping right into it. That's a great way to do it, but that
the
raises
original
the
does
question.
the same thing.
No, I know, but that raises the question...
Do zombies exist in this world?
Yeah, what is he referring to? Is he referring to monsters, zombies, Frankenstein's monster? But it's a very jarring thing because these movies usually exist in a world where zombies have never even occurred to anyone before.
Yeah.
What world is this?
That's a great question. I actually wrote down the same note, does this take place in a world where zombies exist? Like zombie movies exist?
Yes, I always also think it's so interesting in zombie movies, quite a lot of times they don't answer why.
Yes.
It is a mystery. It is always predicted to be some sort of
comet, some sort of gas leak, nuclear,
some sort of germ, or space attack or something like that. And I don't know. It's almost like finding out the Joker's true identity. I don't know if I want to know. Well, I don't know if it would add anything to the lore.
Well, I think that goes back to the idea of the zombies at the end of the day don't matter. None of it matters.
It's just a situation for humans to be tested in.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All that the zombies do is they force humans to be human for all of their good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this really great quote in the movie.
Metaphor.
Yeah, that Ben says.
Yeah.
Where he says, it doesn't take long for the world to fall apart.
Yeah.
I was just trying to wap it up. I thought that was
you
really,
son of a bitch.
To go back to that.
You jumped back.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So you're just saying that I could cut this whole... all of my...
No.
Discussion.
I don't think you cut it. I think you keep it. I just thought it was funny to, wrap it up.
Remember that salient point that you had to wrap the whole damn thing up?
I just wrapped it up again.
Very bow.
It was like putting a diaper on a diaper.
Done.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what we just did.
Well, fantastic. I think we wrung as much as we could out of this, unless you have anything else.
The one thing we forgot to do is talk about what we learned.
God damn it.
And what goes into the canon, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I think this is pretty simple, right? Number one, attention to detail. Attention to detail, everything from the music box to the TV.
To the sling, to
the
everything.
Sling, to the putting the rag over the mouth.
Yep.
To the putting a
live
sheet
within
over
the world
body.
that you've created.
Absolutely.
Like, understand what you've created and keep with it.
I think keeping things real when it's appropriate.
Yeah. I think there are shortcuts that sometimes writers take, where they're like, well, I need to get to this next point, but I don't want them to be human about it. I just want to get to it.
I need to move from moment to moment. I think trying to find, when it works, social commentary.
Yeah. Not forcing it in, but yeah.
Strong female leads.
Ooh, yeah.
I love that.
Hell yeah.
And I also think, quite honestly, hire Tony Todd.
Hire Tony Todd for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Patricia Tallman as well. We got to give her credit,
absolutely.
too.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I think both of them, I mean, hell, they should be in another zombie movie together.
Fuck yeah.
Dude.
I would watch it.
That's our movie?
Yeah.
That's our movie, maybe.
It's just the two of them, like... You remember that time this happened to us before? Man, that really stunk.
Oh, you're not a zombie anymore.
Now you're back. We're back.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Did we ruin it? Tony Todd turns into a zombie at the end.
Oh,
Did we say that even?
Spoiler alert. Yeah, we did.
Whatever.
Oh, my God.
We've spoiled everything else.
Look, I gotta say, it's real exciting, too, by the way, just to throw out there, that this movie had only been on Blu-ray through a company called Twilight Time that has long been out of print.
Yeah.
I went to go find it, and the cheapest copy I found was like $500.
Jesus!
I found out, like, literally, this is a DVD copy, and it was like a fairly okay copy.
Sure.
But they just released it on Blu-ray, like, yesterday?
What?
To date the episode of when we've recorded it.
Hey, there you go.
So, like, not only should you seek out this movie and watch it, there is now apparently a beautiful digital copy of it, or not a digital,
digital.
There's a beautiful
restored,
restoration of it.
Yeah.
That you should find and watch.
On your Blu-ray player.
On your Blu-ray player.
Which means if we're dating it, let's say Happy Halloween to everybody.
Yeah, Happy Halloween.
Regardless of when you're listening.
When we're listening to it.
It's a spooky episode regardless. Okay, Nick, on the docket for next week, what do we have?
Well, we are continuing Shocktober. Shocktoberfest. With our all-zombie October.
Zomtober.
Oct-zombie. Ooh, it's like an octopus zombie.
Oh, I want to see that.
I do too.
Oh, that would be awesome.
The octopus zombie.
The octopus zombie fighting the shark.
You really need to cut this part out so no one steals our fucking genius idea.
Yes, I'm gonna.
I don't know why I whispered that to you, like you couldn't like snip it out, the whisper. You know what? Anyways, next week we decided that, we watched the 21st Century Films Corporation version of The Night of the Living Dead.
That's right.
So why the fuck not look at the original
Where
The
it
Night
comes
of the Living
from.
Dead? Yep.
The roots.
The roots. The roots.
The roots are on fire.
No, the zombies are on fire.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
So we are looking at 1968's George A. Romero directed The Night of the Living Dead. Dead. Although we could really fuck with people and just be like, The Night of Anubis.
Oh, and then they get there next week at the episode, and they're like, "Wait, I thought it was new. What?
Yeah, there's no bus in this.
No. Or an old bus.
Yeah, right there is where you played the Scooby-Doo laugh track, right?
Of course I did.
Okay. Anyways, come join us for Night of the Living Dead. I think next week will be just a little bit different. We're not going to necessarily concentrate on, plot of The Night of the Living Dead. We're just going to talk about things that I think make it a classic and things that make it awesome, and maybe give you a few facts that, you wouldn't know if you didn't, troll the internet for facts of The Night of the Living Dead.
Sounds good.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Neat. Next time.
Next time. Good night and good canon.
Oh, good night and good canon. Follow us on all the things at Creating Canon. You can email us at creatingcanon@gmail.com. And please reach out to us. We really want to hear from you fans.
Tell your family and friends about this.
We really do hope that anybody listening is sort of getting something out of this. If you've watched this movie, or you haven't, go check it out.
Yeah.
Look into movies like that. Some movies are just stupid fun, whatever.
Totally.
But, you can always just scrape under the surface.
Absolutely.
It's fun. I really enjoyed doing
Watch this and then watch Rappin'.
Yeah, and Breakin' 2.
Yes.
Hit it.
We'll do soon. Look at that zombie hit his brains, and then
Then you got blood in stains. I don't know.
That feels like actually a rap from Rappin'.
Yep. We did it.
Yay!
Good night and good canon.
Good night and good canon.
See, that's how you end it.
Good night. No, the way you end it is on a real salient point.
And put a diaper on a diaper.
And then put a diaper on a diaper.
That's right. Good.
I think this all stays.
Of course it does.
Peace out. You sound so angry about that.
Garg! Angry.
It's probably going to be stupid, but I'm just going to go for it.
Cool.
Iron Man. That's how it goes, right?
That's not the movie we're doing.